Take notes.
Big Beach!
We're here.
My man Alan just did.
It's different this time, but it sounds like you're
She in town.
Okay, I get it. It's not NBA basketball. It's not the NBA Finals. It's not even the NBA season. However, the FIBA World Cup is really important to people around the world, and as basketball grows globally, it's a tournament that should just keep getting better over time. It's happening this year in China, and how it works is 32 teams will be playing in 3 stages. So you have 32 teams. It starts off with 8 groups of 4. After each team plays each other once, you're going to see the top 2 teams advance to another group stage. So basically going to have 16 teams then, so 4 groups of 4. From there, the top 2 teams will then make it to basically the quarterfinals. And then the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. It's all one-off games, so there are no series. It's not like the NBA playoffs. It's very similar actually to March Madness in terms of how the knockouts will work. So you're going to see a lot more surprises. Anything can happen. A guy can catch fire randomly. A lot more potential for upsets. But let's get into it. You know, there are 32 teams in this tournament. I'm going to run through each of them super quickly. We're going to talk about players to look for, surprises, and which NBA guys can be making a bigger name for themselves. So let's actually kick it off with Group A. So Group A is going to give you the Ivory Coast, Poland, Venezuela, and China. The 2 teams that are probably going to qualify from this group are Poland and China. The Ivory Coast, too young a team in terms of their basketball experience. Too raw, I should say. And they're having a lot of issues with the federation right now over payments and things like that. So not coming in the best mindset. Venezuela as well, just not, they just don't have the talent needed for this. Both teams will probably be losing all of these games. And I expect China, who have Yi Jianlian, remember him, to do pretty well. I saw China in Vegas, actually. They are a team with some obviously good fundamentals. They know how to move the ball. And they play tough defense, try to pick up full court a lot, actually. However, they really lack the athleticism to get past people in ISO situations. However, against these group of players, they should actually have more success than they did against, I think it was the Heat in that Summer League game. Lastly, we have Poland, who should be decent. Marcin Gortat is not playing, which sucks for them. But they have a EuroLeague vet in AJ Slaughter, who's been doing well out in Europe for a while and is consistent. An American who's been naturalized, as you can expect. So expect Poland to probably do pretty well, but that's my picks for Group A. Moving on to Group B, we have Russia, Argentina, South Korea, and Nigeria. This is going to be a way more interesting group. Looking at Russia, they have Sergei Karasev, who was a former Nets player. Russia has a decent basketball culture, not as good as some of the other Eastern European teams, but solid enough. I think they should do pretty well. Argentina is not the team they used to be. Manu Ginobili, obviously, he was a star back then, and they had a bit of a golden generation with him and Nocioni. But one hangover from that generation in Luis Scola, who's 39. You remember Luis Scola? The post moves for the Houston Rockets? He's still around, and he's been, he's still a good player and still can get buckets. So he should be a pretty good player for them. Also, look out for the Real Madrid pair, Gabriel Deck and Facundo Campazzo, 2 guys who can get after it, are aggressive, they can get buckets. So I don't think Argentina is going to be nearly as good as they used to be. They're kind of in a rebuild, if you want to put it that way, but I definitely think they're still going to be a solid team, and they should definitely get out of the round and possibly make it to the quarterfinal. Up next is South Korea. Don't expect much from them. Most of the guys are based in the Korean League, so not a lot of international experience. Don't expect them to go too far. Nigeria, however, will be interesting. Al-Farouq Aminu is their star player, but Josh Okogie will be playing as well. I love Josh Okogie. He plays crazy defense out of Minnesota. I think they are going to be a really interesting team, and if you look at the African teams for the future, Nigeria is a team you could see getting better and better over time as basketball culture continues to grow there. Definitely going to get past the group. I think Argentina and Nigeria are going to be the 2 teams to make it out here, but interesting group because Russia could throw a curveball in there. Moving on to Group C, we got Spain, Iran, Puerto Rico, and Tunisia. Spain are obviously the favorites in this group. I definitely expect them to qualify. They're not the team they were, like many of these teams. They're not in many of the teams that used to be a lot stronger. They're in the middle of a generation shift. Paul Gasol won't be there. Marc Gasol will, however, and you have the Hernan Gomez brothers in Willie and Juancho, who's out in Denver. They will both be on the team, so kind of transition into the new Spain team, I guess. Ricky Rubio will be there as well. And also look out for Sergio Llull, who plays for Real Madrid, is very talented and could have been the NBA a long time ago. Actually was drafted by the Nuggets, I believe. Got a big contract for a second-round guy, but, you got to think about it sometimes. He can stay in Spain, play for Real Madrid, one of the best teams in the world outside of the NBA, live in Madrid, and be a star. So sometimes, it's not just about playing in the NBA, it's like lifestyle as well. So look for Spain to obviously dominate this group. Iran can be pretty decent as well. They have they had a pretty tough preseason, pre-tournament. 6-4 overall. They have Hamed Haddadi, who you might remember. I think he played for Memphis. So they should be okay, but I don't think they're going to make it out. Puerto Rico lost JJ Barea to injury, which really sucks. JJ is someone who's always prided himself on playing for Puerto Rico. I remember he made a pretty emotional post about not being able to play in the World Cup. So I know for him, it's a really big deal. He's recovering from that Achilles, and he's pretty old now, so I think he knows he can't really mess anything up with recovery. So you won't be seeing him, which sucks. I don't think they're going to get too far without JJ's leadership. The team that I think will make it through from this group along with Spain will be Tunisia. They have Salah Mejri, who plays for Dallas, and they're a team that they're pretty old. They have a lot of chemistry. They've been playing together for a long time. So what they may lack in athleticism and just outright basketball skill, you hope that they can make up for in chemistry and togetherness and compatibility. Moving on to Group D, Angola, the Philippines, Italy, and my favorites for the tournament. Yep, not the U.S., but my favorites for the tournament are Serbia. So we'll start with Angola. Bruno Fernando is not going to be playing for them. He was a draft pick this year, really athletic center, and he plays for the Hawks, but he's not going to be there, so I don't expect them to go far. Philippines are going to be interesting. They have, surprise, Andre Blach. Yes, he's Filipino, naturalized anyway. He's been playing in China for a while now, and he's going to be their star player. He enjoys being a star player. I know he's going to have fun in this tournament, but they're really going to be keyed down on him. The defenses will be. So the only way they can get far is if he's able to somehow bring out a passing game and get more guys involved, because he won't be able to do it alone. Italy, should be stronger than their performances. Danilo Gallinari will be playing, as will Marco Bellinelli. So that's two legit NBA players. Gallinari's coming off a great season with the Clippers. Now he'll be in OKC next year after the Paul George trade. But, the Azzurri should be a good team. They have a heavy basketball culture. Let's see how they perform. I definitely think they'll get out of the first group stage, but the second group stage is going to be pretty intense. I think they're going to struggle there a bit. Moving on, though, you have Serbia, and these are my favorites. They were 9-0 in the pre-warm-up for the tournament. They have Nikola Jokic, who had an incredible season. Their system is amazing. They pass circles around everyone. Everyone knows where to be. You have Boban Marjanovic is going to be a center as well on this team. So I don't know who's going to stop him in the paint. And Bogdan Bogdanovic, who plays for the Kings with De'Aaron Fox out there in Sacramento. This guy turns into Kobe Bryant when he's playing for Serbia. He's just a different player. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see this team play. I think the togetherness of this team and the chemistry and the teamwork is what might propel them over the other favorites if it comes to the semifinals and finals. But this is my pick for champion, how they've looked incredible so far in the warm-up.
Now watch. This is what I was referring to. 7 Serbians touched the ball. Good, better, best. Nikola Jokic, wide open. Take that. That is basketball.
Moving on to Group E, you got Turkey, Czech Republic, the USA, and Japan. Turkey going to be an interesting team. Heavy basketball culture in Turkey as well. I think Shedi Osman is going to have a breakout tournament for them. Furkan Korkmaz as well is going to be there. So they're a good team. I think you're going to see a lot of good play from Turkey. I don't know how far they'll get overall, but I definitely think they'll get out of the group. Czech Republic won't be bringing in Jan Vesley. If you remember him, he was like the number 4 overall pick a while ago for the Washington Wizards. Didn't pan out in the NBA, but has made a career for himself in Europe. I might remember him from making out with his girlfriend when he got drafted. But Thomas Satoransky, who's been a really nice point guard for the Wizards the past few years and is now going to be on the Bulls, he is someone who I think is going to have a good tournament, but I don't think they have enough firepower to get past the other teams in this group, especially because the USA are in this group. And we know the story with the USA this year. Most of the guys dropped out. Most of the guys didn't play. We're putting in a squad that is maybe the weakest U.S. squad in a long time. But if everything works, because you have guys who can fit into roles and you have role players on this team. If a guy like Marcus Smart can become a shutdown defender, if you can have guys just really fall into their roles, this team could, they have more talent than every other team here. Even if they don't have the highest level talent that Serbia or Greece might have, they have NBA players at every position. And a guy like Kemba Walker is the best point guard in the entire tournament. So if the USA can put it together, and you got Coach Pop. So if Pop can figure this out and get these guys to play together and not ISO every possession, the USA will obviously, still be favorites. I think, though, that Serbia could pip them in the finals. Last up, Japan. Rui Hachimura, who just got drafted, has been incredible in the warm-up games. I predict he's going to have a really good season in the NBA as a rookie. Going to hit the ground running. Look for him to be their star player. Also, Yuta Watanabe, who I think plays for Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Hustle. He's been back and forth between the Grizzlies and the G League. He's a big player for them as well, so look out for him. I can see them maybe sneaking in, but it's going to be pretty hard because the USA is definitely going through, and I think Turkey is going to be the second team from this group. But Japan-Turkey will be an interesting game, so watch out for that. Group F, we got Greece, New Zealand, Brazil, and Montenegro. Greece, you know what's up. It's Giannis. Giannis is so excited to play. I think he mentioned that this tournament's going to mean more to him than just the MVP or even some... I don't know if he said NBA Finals, so I don't want to put that on him, but you can see what it means for him. He's very happy to go back. Greece is pretty legit even without Giannis. They were ranked pretty high without him even playing for a while. Now he's back. Nick Calathis as well. I really like this guy. Had he been willing to play in the NBA and really pushed, he would have been a rotation guy for years now. Look out for him to have a good tournament. Great passer. I think they're going to have a really cool system. And who's going to stop Giannis going to the rim? Let me know because I have no idea. So Greece is going to get pretty far. New Zealand, don't expect much from them. Steven Adams isn't playing, which really sucks because that would have been cool to see him, really lead the New Zealand team. But what we will see is the haka. And if you remember the 2014 haka that they did against the US, you know how dope it was. It's cool. It's part of the culture there. And Brazil, last team I want to talk about right here really quickly. I think they're going to do pretty well. Oh, actually, two more teams in this group, my bad. So it's Brazil and Montenegro. Brazil first, we got Leandro Barbosa, still kicking, still fast. The Brazilian blur is still there. Anderson Varejao as well is going to be there. So you got two former Warriors. Remember, Varejao was at the Warriors for a little bit there. I think they're going to do pretty well. Brazil is another big basketball culture. It's been growing a lot. But look out for Bruno Capacolo. Mr. 2 years away from 2 years away. Well, guess what? We're 4 years from that point. And he looked pretty decent last season, showing a lot of improvement. So I think he can have a surprising breakout tournament. Last in this group that I want to talk about is Montenegro. Nikola Vucevic is their star. Vucci Main, great season last year for Orlando, was an all-star. His defense improved everything, but I think they're going to have to rely on him way too much in this tournament. I don't think he's going to be able to do it on his own. So I see Greece and Brazil making it through, but Montenegro can make it interesting. If Vucevic is killing it, you never know what can happen. Group G, we got Dominican Republic, France, Germany, and Jordan. We start with DR. DR are not bringing two guys. Now imagine this. Imagine Karl-Anthony Towns and Al Horford as your 5 and 4 for Dominican Republic. They would have much bigger odds. Unfortunately, neither of them are playing. I don't expect much. They're probably going to get knocked out in the group stage. But a shame, because a lot of these teams have players that had they played for the country or had they, decided to even become naturalized or, maybe go with their parents' heritage, would have really interesting teams. Alas, you're not going to see much from DR, but you will see a lot from France. Deep roster, a lot of NBA players. You got Frank Ntilikina, Evan Fournier, the Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, Nicolas Batum. So you got a really solid roster of players. You got Nando De Colo off the bench who played for the Spurs and has been doing really well in Europe. So look for France to do well. They're physical. Their defense is going to be elite for this tournament. I just don't know if they're going to score enough. They're going to get out of this group for sure, but let's see how they fare in the second round. If they do well there, you never know how far they can go. Germany's up next. Obviously, no Dirk, long retired now, but Dennis Schroeder will be their star. I think he's going to have a nice tournament too. I don't think many international guards will be able to stop him from scoring. So I think they're definitely going to get through the group as well. Look out for them to do well. And they also have a couple of other NBA players, Daniel Theis, Mo Wagner, things like that. So I think Germany's going to be an interesting team. Jordan, they got the name Jordan, but the country is not going to do that well in basketball. I think they're not going to be able to play any defense against their opponents. They have an American, Dart Tucker, who is the main offensive guy, and he's going to be their star, but I really don't expect too much from them. So I think they're definitely going out. They might finish last in this group. I think France and Germany are going to be the top two. And to finish it off, we have Group H with Canada, Senegal, Lithuania, and Australia. Very interesting group, kind of a group of death with a lot of players here. A lot of teams here, that have really solid players on them. Now, Canada is, the most upsetting team for me in this tournament because I really wonder what this squad could have been. In fact, I'm going to put it on the screen. This is what the team could have been had everyone played. That's definitely 100% the second best team in the world. I think in the next 10, 15 years, the US versus Canada is going to become a really big battle in international ball, and I think they're going to emerge as a top 2 team. It's going to be really interesting to follow. But this time around, they are bringing Nick Nurse, NBA champion coach Nick Nurse, and Corey Joseph is probably going to be their star. I think they can maybe get out the round, but it's not going to be that easy because this is a pretty tough group, as I mentioned. Senegal's up next. Don't expect much from them. I think they're going to be out pretty early. They have a coach who's only been there for a month at this point, so don't expect much from Senegal. But Lithuania, I do expect a lot from them. They're a basketball culture. They've had players for years playing in the NBA. You have Domantas Sabonis, who's going to be their star. You also have Mindaugas Kuzminskas, the former Knick. Shout out to my guy Kuz, the original Kuz. And Jonas Valanciunas, you know, he had a pretty decent season last year, Memphis after the trade. So they're going to have a lot of front court help and a lot of front court dominance. I think we're going to see from them. FIBA's a different game. So I think they're probably going to make it through this group because I also have Australia 100% getting through from this group. We just saw what Australia did to the US. They have such a nice roster, and these guys have been playing together too. Patty Mills, Joe Ingles, Andrew Bogut, even guys like Mitch Creek and even Jock Landale. Look out for him. These guys have been playing together. They have a big country pride. It's going to mean a lot to them. A bit of a shame Ben Simmons wasn't playing because then you could really see them becoming a favorite. But look for Australia to do pretty well. I think the last 4, you might be looking at like Australia, Serbia for sure, the US, and then we'll see who kind of fits in that last role. But should be a really interesting tournament. The thing about FIBA is that it's actually a better tournament than the Olympics simply because all the good teams are here. Whereas in the Olympics, it's very likely sometimes that you don't see every good team here. The only team that I would say you really wish you would have been in this tournament is Slovenia with Luka Doncic and Goran Dragic. But it should be a good tournament. You know, I think it's going to be fun. And hey, it's basketball. And what's better than basketball? Not much. Thanks for listening, guys. Peace out. We'll be back a lot more stuff soon. Take care.